What's going on, Mr. Bruno? Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
This has been a while in the making.
Strange not seeing Josh sitting there.
Mm.
Here lately, it's only been Josh all the
Yeah.
time.
So why don't you tell the folks who you are and kind of what you do and all that good stuff?
Okay, well, I am an independent sales rep for Vortex Optics, Kershaw knives, and Baku bikes, and a bunch of cool stuff that we use.
Very nice.
My formative career, I was 26 years in heavy construction, road construction. I had a good gig, and then I had an opportunity. I want to say about 5 years ago now. And I started part-time doing sales for Vortex, just helping out another rep in the Ontario territory, and looking after a couple of accounts. I did it part-time, and it was cool. It was something I wanted to do, and I decided to take the plunge and decided to grow this business, grow sales, and grow jump in feet first. And it's the best thing I ever did. My archery career led me to what I'm doing today, and I'm really thankful. So literally like living the dream, honestly.
It's amazing when you get to work in something that you like doing as a hobby. It's so much more fun.
Oh yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like a grind every day, right? When you're just like, oh, I got to go into work and blah, blah, blah. But you're in your glee, and
like,
that's good, man. I didn't know that's how you started with Vortex.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I set an alarm to go hunting. Set an alarm to get up in a tree, and that's about it. And I'm starting to even rethink that, because evenings are a lot better, a lot more productive, than mornings.
I tend to agree a little bit. For some reason, especially I think in later season, evenings are better.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
it takes that long for them to get up and get on the move when it's cold and like late season stuff, right?
Yeah. I think it's the daylight savings time thing too. Really throws.
They know.
That's so. They know. I think it's so annoying. I think they should get rid of daylight savings time.
Oh, it's so dumb.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
it really is. And you run and operate the Southern Classic. You and your wife and your wonderful team of volunteers as well.
Yeah. We, my wife and I, started the Southern Canadian Classic in 2019.
I will be there this year.
In 2019, before the pandemic, obviously, and it was a different. We ran it as a different format back then, and it was just because 3D in our area was kind of really dying off, and I've been shooting for a few years now, and we noticed a decline, so we decided to do something about it, and we worked with a local club in 2019, and we put on an event. It was a 2-day event, but it was more of a novelty shoot then, and we brought some people back in, and we had great momentum going into 2020, and then the pandemic and just kind of crapped on everything, and we just then my fishing boat got a lot more use, for those couple of years, right?
No doubt.
But so no, and then we decided a couple of years ago to, after everything kind of calmed down, to get back after it and run with an ASA type scoring format, and still keeping our own identity and doing our own thing and keeping it, keeping it original, and trying to, it's just, we're put on one event and we pour everything into it, and as you guys know, hosting your own event is a lot of work.
There's a bit to it.
The devil's in the details. And,
definitely. Well,
there were so many details that we did not realize existed.
Yeah.
Until we got going, and we were like, "Oh, wait a minute, we got some stuff we need to go do."
Yeah. We got a little bit in over our heads. Luckily, we had a lot of people there that were very well versed in hosting a tournament, so it was really, really helpful. But you guys, man, that the Southern Classic, you guys put that up. That is the smoothest shoot I've ever been to.
You know,
Everything is,
and I will give like full credit to my wife for that. My
Mm.
wife, her background is she worked at a radio station. She's organized and worked on a ton of events, you know,
Mhm.
and she's my wife is a detail orientated person, and I'll be honest, it kind of annoys me at times. Like she goes, well, what if we this is a great picture, but we don't know who took this picture. We can't
Right.
use it, because we have to ask them permission. And I'm like, honey, it'll be fine. Whoever
Yeah.
took this picture, they'll be thrilled that we're using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Not a big deal.
but it's
No.
it's those little things
Yeah.
that make a good event great. I feel
100%.
those
Yeah.
little details, and it's those slight things,
Yeah.
like
You
hand
know,
stations,
well, exactly that
like
too,
just
right?
little things like that, and things for kids, and trying to, and the if you run it like just a tournament, and try to run it like a business, I think eventually you're going to fall flat.
Yeah.
You're creating an experience for people. You want CJ Batista to have a good time and make sure that he has a good time.
Right.
And then, because if he has a good time, he's going to tell his friends, and they're all going to come back and say, hey,
And then
this
you're
is a
just
great
going to
thing.
grow. Yeah.
And that's how it's got to be done.
Well,
That's how we decided we're going to run.
yeah. One of my favorite things about your shoot is you're not as spread out as other shoots. Like you can talk back and forth across the lanes and across that brook. And it's just you get a far more sense of community at the Southern Classic. Like everybody's kind of, you're, hey, how you doing? Like you talk a little bit of crap to your buddies and stuff like that, right? And
Yeah.
it's so much fun. I think it's my favorite shoot, actually.
That's it's very similar to an ASA. When you got thumbs up on either side, you can't go retrieve your arrows until you have thumbs up, because the targets are close together, and you're exactly right. And that's what we're going after, is a more communal feel. Like,
right.
you want to feel that sense of community, and you want to going to shoots with these big long like courses, and you're going from sometimes you got 100 yards between targets, like just walking to different and if you got hills and terrain and stuff like that, man, that takes its toll on you and stuff. But
no doubt.
But if if we keep everybody close together, and it's kind of rotational, so you could see everybody from every other group. Like during the day, you're not seeing the same faces of the group you just caught up to. You're seeing different faces, which is great. Which brings everybody closer. Honestly, like it's like
100%.
We are a community, and it needs to be tight knit. And there's too much bickering, within the associations and everything. There's a lot of this and that. It's like, okay, we're here to shoot our bows. We all love to do that, and let's just do it and have fun, but yet still be competitive. There's a fine line between, being like putting on a good tournament where people like yourselves and Peyton and these guys are challenged, and they're being challenged by their peers also.
Yeah.
But yet you want first timers to come and have a good time. So you're skating a fine line there, so
that is a tough line to walk. Hey.
Yeah. We tried to, I think we picked 3, maybe 4 targets where when we had our tournament last year, where we tried to make it so there was a couple different options you could shoot from. Like we had one where you could stand up on top of this like almost 4 foot tall stump. Or if you were a little kid, you could just stand on the ground.
Yeah.
Right. And a couple of things like that, when people were coming through our shooting station, those were the ones that everybody was saying, like these targets are great because like everybody gets to try something, or they can be comfortable and shoot like a standard shot.
Right.
Everybody gets to experience it, and at least, it's not just your standard walk up to the peg, take aim, take a shot, go get your arrow. Like, it's nice to mix that up.
That stuff is important, right? That stuff is important. You want to you want to challenge people, but you want to also not challenge them, not push them too much. You know
Right.
what I mean? So
We are shooting arrows.
Yeah.
It's a dance,
There is a fine line there, because you're right. Because if it's too challenging for people who are kind of just getting into it, it's not as fun. But if it's not challenging, it's not fun either.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're just going up and you're just ringing it every time, it's like, well, just kind of is what it is. But you guys do a great job. That is definitely one of my favorite shoots for sure.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that it's way out back in a farmer's field. Everybody camps out. Everybody's close to one another too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You got to get the whole experience and spend the weekend camping next time.
Yeah.
I am next time. Yeah, we've already devised a plan for a setup, a camp, or he might even be getting a camper. So we're definitely gonna figure that out, because that's a good time.
Yeah.
And
that was probably the only thing that I kind of thought was a bit of a downer for Porcupine Hollow, was where the field is so big, everybody tends to go in the little pockets with their most common friends, which I get. You want to be around your most liked people, but at the same time, meet some new people too.
Yeah. It's fun.
Porcupine is really good too. They were at a disadvantage this past year with that torrential rains they had like the week before. So it was like our event 2 years ago, we got slammed with rain. We got like 2.5 inches of rain the night before the shoot. I was up at 5 a.m. pumping water. But Carl was dealing with those challenges too, and literally there was some cliquey kind of segregation going on, but it was only due to the puddles. And everybody was trying to find a piece of high ground to camp on. So
exactly.
I live only 15 minutes up the road from there, and
he's got such a great piece of property there.
Oh my god!
And he could put 8 20 target courses on that property
easily.
That his property is just gorgeous.
He's got a situation
of amazing.
At the Southern Canadian Classic, I think we're only playing with, including the camping area, I think we're only like 11 acres.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and he's got to have what up there? Like
he's got 100.
It's 100, is it?
Yep.
He's got 100 acres, yeah.
Wow, what a bunch of courses.
He borrows that field across the street for the weekend. His neighbor's a good buddy of his, and man, he's like, he says it's just a hay field. You guys do what you want in there. And so he goes in there a couple days before and cuts it down, and off to the races.
That's amazing.
It's a great setup there.
That is a great setup.
Yeah.
Have you found, now that since the pandemic's passed and all that stuff is over with, have you found like an increase in like 3D archery and involvement and like people wanting to get into the sport? Because from our end, it looks like it's growing in popularity all the time. Yeah,
I would say that too. I think the future looks really good right now.
I agree. Right.
And you know what? And like, thanks to guys like you guys for doing stuff like this too, right? You guys come to the shoots. You guys are you guys are the boots on the ground, and you're talking about things and stuff, and that's what we need, to grow our sport. That's what we need to grow this, to do this, and to make the trips, to go to different events and experience these things. Go to ASAs, go to TACs, and go to these different events. That's what you need to do, and then you realize, like, you go to an ASA, you go to London, Kentucky, where there's 2,100, 2,200 shooters there, and it runs and there's 16 different courses, and it runs like a military operation. Like, it's crazy.
That's so crazy. I have to go to one. I want to experience one, because I'm sure it's amazing to do.
Yeah.
Come down with us first weekend in June. Come down with us. We rent. There's a trailer park 2 minutes away from the venue, and we rent. And I think there's my buddy's renting an Airbnb, and he might be looking for some extra people to fill the beds there. So
we'll talk.
It's not far. It's like 6.5 hours from where I live, so it's probably 9 hours for you guys.
That's not bad.
Right?
Well,
Doesn't do it.
I'm up in Ottawa.
Yeah.
You have to come down to me, brother, and then we'll drive from here.
Yes.
That's all. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in that. We'll talk
Oh
about that,
yeah.
Bruno. That's an
Yeah.
awesome idea. I like because I really want to experience a full on ASA
Yeah.
like in the States.
Because we just
Yeah.
don't get that here.
I
Yeah.
got like 40 days till my first one this year.
Oh
So
yeah.
Foley, Alabama. Yeah.
Whoo!
All registered, everything. Yeah.
And you shoot K50, right?
No, I'm shooting senior known pro this year.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're switching, are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
turning 50 at the end of the month. So
Oh, so
I'm
that allows
eligible.
you to go
Yeah.
to.
I'm eligible to shoot as a senior. So
Yeah.
yeah. Why not?
Lucky
Yeah.
you, buddy.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So
It's
do they allow?
moisturizer.
You don't look a day over 40, buddy. You're doing all
Well,
right.
thanks, man.
I think you're gonna be fun. They're not gonna believe you.
I shaved the gray. I'll let my beard grow in gray. I shaved
There
the
you
gray
go.
off today.
That's the key, right? Is to get rid of that gray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Once you
right.
get rid of that stuff, it's all good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. I hope you do well there
yeah.
because you're quite the shooter, man.
Well,
Mhm.
thank you.
I watched you in the shoot down, and I was like, when
Oh.
we were at Porcupine Hollow, man, you ring like how many in a
Yeah.
row was it?
4.
And I was
I
sitting
Is
there,
it
I was
4 or
like,
5?
yeah,
No,
I
I
was-
hit
yeah.
like 4 out of 5 14s. And
yeah,
Yeah.
on my last target, I'm like, holy crap! I caught up because I was like 16 points back or 18 points back or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't care. I'm in 4th place. I'm just going to go for every 14.
sure,
Yeah.
Like, I got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So that kind of took pressure off me and let me focus on my shot. And I was aiming well, but I hadn't really shot well that day at all. So I
Okay.
had no expectations. And that kind of alleviated some pressure from me.
it like frees you, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
It like frees you up, like
Yeah, absolutely. It frees your mind. It's like, okay, I got nothing to lose. So it's like, like pin it, man. Put the throttle down and just. So I went after every 14, and I hit the first 4 I aimed at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap! Like I looked at the scoreboard and I had caught up to 3rd place. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well maybe I should. And the last target was like a 48.5 yard
Yeah.
smaller target, like a black buck or something. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I'm just going to conserve try and protect the lead a little bit here and just maybe shoot at a safe 10 or not a
Yeah.
safe 10, but like a lower 12, So
Yeah.
I aim at the lower 12 and I just dropped my bow a little bit for an 8. I'm like, and my
Yeah.
wife is like, why did you go after the last 14? A lot of people were like, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like,
I know it's a hard
reality
decision,
kicked
man.
in. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember looking at Gary going, did Bruno just shoot 4 14s in a row? Like,
Oh,
he
yeah.
just casually walk out there and go, anyway,
Yeah.
I'm good, boys. I was like,
Yeah. That was
That's
a first for
unbelievable.
me. It's not like, like,
well, it was
but-
impressive to watch.
well, thank you.
Yeah, I
it
was just sitting there like,
It was impressive for me to pull it off.
what is going on, man?
But I was thrilled with it.
Yeah, I bet. And those shoot downs are a different game.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
The shoot downs, they're a different game.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's I've only ever been in one, and that was the one at the Southern Classic. And man, just the pressure of eyes on you.
You got
It's like, okay, just remember your process. Just go through your checklist, do your thing.
Well, because normally you can tell yourself nobody's watching. Nobody's really paying attention to me. But
So,
now
there's
everybody's paying attention.
everybody's watching. Yeah.
Mm.
Everybody's that's there is watching.
Yeah.
In 2022, I was at the Nationals in Prince Edward Island, and it was before the shoot down. I was sitting in 2nd place or 3rd place. Sorry, I was in 3rd place going into the shoot down, and I was because we had such a long wait. Okay. And
Okay.
your mind just races, right? Like, and when you're waiting, it's the worst.
Oh.
So I was really, really nervous, and I called my coach, Jim Morrow. God rest his soul. Anyway, I called him, and he says, "Hey," he says, "How you doing?" He says, "You're in the shoot down." Eh? I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm a bucket of nerves right now. I don't know." He says, "Listen," and I remember the sound of his voice, and he was so calm. He says, "Just focus on what it is that you're doing, and all those nerves are going to go away." He says, focus on what you're doing right now, and all those nerves are going to go away. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And so I got up to the line and I tried to do what he was saying, and I was shaking. I was loading my arrow and everything like that, and I was shaking and everything. And then as soon as I went to draw my bow, I started focusing on what I was doing, and I won. I ended up winning.
Beautiful.
And it was, and it was all because of that. And that's the mindset I take into a shoot down. Just focus on, when you focus on what it is that you're doing, you're blocking everything else out. You're not letting anything come in.
Right.
Well, the body knows what's to do.
So Joel Turner says something similar to that, right? Like, it's like, focus on that one thing, or a sound, or something repetitive in your mind, to help you focus on that one thing.
Right.
And that's what I do. So,
yeah. I think that's all you can do.
Yeah.
There really is no other answer to it other than just kind of try to get in your zone and try to leave everything else behind you and do your thing. Because
either that or embrace the chaos
and wear a diaper.
It's one of the two, man. It is a wild sport, man, when you get into shoot downs out, but it's a ton of fun. And like you say, like having friends there to compete with, like whenever me and Peyton go to something, like I love it because we're buddies, but we don't want to lose either. You know what I mean? And we push each other to get better.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
You're competitors. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you try and also tune your setup to deal with pressure too. Make it as forgiving as it can.
Yeah. Well, what do you do for that? Like, in order to make it more forgiving, like your setup, like what are some of the things that you would do to achieve that?
How much time do we have?
Oh, we got 40 minutes left yet, man, or however long we got to go.
No, we're good. What I do with my setups, like I'll do, before I even fire an arrow out of a brand new setup, change a string, put a set of gas strings on it.
Right away.
I'm sorry?
Right away? New strings.
I don't shoot. Yeah, I take the factory strings. I don't even put a D-loop on them. I take them off, put a set of gas strings on them.
Okay.
And then what I do is I'll tie my D-loop at 90 degrees. I'll start at 90 degrees to the Berger button. Okay. And then, just without even firing an arrow, like I'll set a rest on it and put a sight on it, but no bars, nothing. I'll get up to, I'll stay at like 10, 20 yards and try and focus in on a point and see what the bow's doing, and then just what I do is I start twisting that D loop up the serving. I'll start twisting the D loop up the serving, and you'll see you're adding pressure on your top cam. A lot of bows want to, with the exception of prime bows, where the grip is in the center. All these bows want to dip down, and you ever had a bow that you had to, you're fighting it to come up? Like you feel like it's locked below. Well, spin your D loop up, start spinning your D loop up. And usually I'm talking like my reckoning. I just set up my 39 and I'm still working on it, to be honest. But I've got it. I'm like a quarter inch above the burger hole. You know what I mean? Like a whole quarter inch above. Like you can see the bottom of the shaft is above the Berger hole. The bottom of the arrow. What that does is it adds pressure to the top cam and forces your bow up. So you're pulling against that top cam and it's pulling your bow up.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're not getting the dip because you have that extra pressure here.
Exactly.
As you're pulling back, it naturally makes that bow stay upwards.
Yeah. There's multiple ways of doing that too. You could speed up you could leave it at 90 degrees. You could do it with tiller, but it would be a lot bigger adjustment. You could do it with your timing. You could speed up that top cam to where, it's really hitting hard, but that starts to get uncomfortable. Right. So I'd rather leave the timing at 100%, even,
Yeah.
spin my D loop up, and then once I have the bow holding where I want it to,
Yeah.
then I take that D loop off. I tie an equal amount of knots top and bottom,
Okay.
usually only 3. Okay.
Yeah.
3 double half hitch. I'll tie that on to secure the knocking point, and then tie a nice D loop on it, and then I go to paper.
Okay.
Once I have a bullet hole, that's only a start for me, because like after I shoot a perfect bullet hole through paper, I'm like, when I do my French tune or walk back tune, by the time I hit 50 yards, I'm 4 inches left usually.
Okay.
So the paper tune is just kind of a starting point for me.
Yeah.
After that, like I'll make the adjustments so that my French tune works, or the walk back tune is in line, and then I start group tuning. I start group tuning. I look for vertical inconsistencies in your groups, or horizontal inconsistencies, and then with the Bowtech, it's so much nicer with the deadlock. With that deadlock, you can play just, you're talking a quarter turn here, quarter turn there. You're just putting the string behind the arrow.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like, once I've got it shooting where I want, then I start messing with the rest just a bit. And you'll see, like, I don't care what the bow's doing through paper. My old coach used to tell me, I don't care if that arrow comes out sideways. He says, as long as it's hit where you're aiming, it don't matter.
Fair enough.
So, and that's the philosophy I stick to with my tuning. And that's what I feel builds a more forgiving arrow. What I mean by forgiving, like a more forgiving setup, what I mean by forgiving is like those shots that you let go at 50, 60 yards and you're like, oh yeah, that's not that good. And it still groups relatively well. Then you got a decent tune out of that bow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow, no kidding. So you have a process then for tuning. You're quite in depth.
You have to.
That's
bro.
Yeah,
we're just
in order, I
scratching.
guess, to get where if you want to compete heavy, you have to be on point.
Anytime you want to come down, I'll help you out with the tune.
I'm 100% down. I would love to, because right now I'm literally like, time it, shoot it through paper, and I'm out in the field.
Mine haven't even been through paper yet.
Bowtech put out a new roller guard.
Yes.
For the Reckonings. I got it right here.
Oh,
and, it added. Can you see it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It added like 0.6 of a pound of draw weight.
Okay.
And it added 0.4 of holding weight, and it changed my tune, so I had to. Man, I was messing with it out in the cold.
No fun.
Get it retuned, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So you just go until you don't feel your fingers anymore, and then come in and warm up, and then
back at it. What poundage do you shoot, Bruno?
My target between 70 and 72 pounds.
Oh, you're all the way up there, eh?
Yeah.
Nice and flat.
I'm sorry?
It makes it a flat arrow.
Yeah, because I shot unknown for so long. Judging targets. I shot semi-pro in the ASA.
Yeah.
And my shot has never felt better. But if you do not have a good start judging targets, like in your weekend, it throws you off, And then
I bet.
The only like unknown distance is kind of non-existent in Ontario. Everything is known. So the only time I would ever compete in unknown is when I would go to the States,
right.
compete there. And then I would get my ass handed to me, man. I got humbled. Some of those boys, I
would be last every time.
I swear they hold up, they hold back.
Yeah. Some of those guys are amazing at judging distance, eh?
Yeah.
37.5. What?
That is a special skill in itself.
I shot with Dan McCarthy in the team shoot.
Oh,
last
really?
year. Yeah. We were on the same team.
Yeah.
And the guys, we get up to this target, and there's 2 amateurs in our group. There's Dan McCarthy and Brandon Reyes in our group. So we end up winning, and we get up to this target. It's a Wolverine, and I'm like, and Dan and Brandon would let the amateurs go up to the stake first and judge a target, and then we could discuss, because it was a team shoot. You
Right.
discuss the yardage. So it was great learning tool.
Oh, yeah.
So me and this guy get up there, and then Dan says, he goes, so what do you guys think? He's like, what are you putting on that? I'm like 46 and a half, 46 and a half. He goes, ooh, he says, you better be aiming high in the 10. He says, to catch the lower for that at that distance. I'm like, okay. He's like, I got it at 48 and a half, 48 and 3/4, he says.
48 and 3/4.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
All right.
We'll argue inches.
So he was first up. He adjusts his sight. He moves his sight, I imagine, to 48 and 3/4. He gets up at the stake and breaks the shot and hits the lower. Beans the lower on a Wolverine at 48 and 3/4 of a yard. Beans the lower. So because there was only 4 in our group, somebody had to shoot it twice, and it's usually the person that leads off. So,
right.
So all of us shoot, and then Dan comes back and shoots it again, and puts another arrow right next to his other arrow, like
why not?
touching.
Where else does it go?
In the lower. And I'm like, this. Then I'm like, yeah, next year I'm going to be a senior. I'm switching to known distance.
I got that too.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man, that somebody can judge that kind of distance and be that accurate.
Yeah. Just by eye,
yeah. It's a combination of, like, the guy's a Vegas finalist, multiple time Vegas
That's
finalist.
Wild.
Him and Levi, like, you see them at Lancaster, you see them at the U.S. Nationals, you see them in Vegas, and they're shooting spots, and they're they're holding their own against guys like Stefan Hansen and Perkins and Schlosser, and they're in there with these assassins.
They're special guys, man.
Oh, and then they'll turn around and judge a target like that.
I know it's. Oh. I can't even imagine trying to shoot unknown, because I don't know. I don't think I could judge that. I'd be so far off all the time. I try. So when we shoot tournaments, we tried, or even when I practice through a 3D course, I always try to guess the distance in my head before I range it, just to try to start building some sort of understanding, right? And I'm almost never close. I'm almost like 7 yards off half the time, and I'm like, good grief.
So the people that shoot unknown never say guess. So we say judge.
Oh, judge.
We say
okay.
Judge. So you say it's never a reasonable guess. It's a guess. Amateur's guess. Right. So it's a very perishable skill. If you don't stay at it every day, like I have, like, our yard looks like a petting zoo in the summertime. Okay, with all my
I'm working on it.
All my targets everywhere, and our house is like 800 feet off the road, and then people drive by. Like, some people, like, pull over and they're taking pictures. Taking pictures. They're like, "Oh, look, a polar bear in that guy's yard."
What's that bison and polar bear doing out in that yard?
Wow.
They don't hang out.
Man, that puma and the antelope are really getting along well.
Yeah, they're so friendly with each other. Oh, it's no.
Yeah, so it's no, it is a perishable skill, and
for sure
you have to work at it constantly. But the problem is, with, like, I train in my yard and the bush behind my house, and sometimes the bush where the SCC is held, and I know those numbers. I know, like, I could guess them within a half a yard,
Wow.
and that's the problem, right? Like, it's
too familiar.
I need to see different scenarios, and if like, the closest scenario to, like, the SCC would be like London, Kentucky,
right,
because of the lighting. But the SCC, I think, is a bit worse.
Really?
Or worse than the London, Kentucky. Yeah. So if you can suffer through our event, you can definitely shoot London, Kentucky.
There's some dark ones there sometimes. Some are hard to see, man.
Oh,
yeah, but it's good because it's challenging, and it. I find sometimes if I know the target and I can't really make the 12 ring out, it almost helps me a little bit, because I'm not as hyper focused, but I understand where the 12 is because I've seen that target so many times. but I'm not so hyper focused on holding on this one spot.
Right.
And it kind of, things break more naturally for me, and I usually make a little bit of a better shot, which is nice.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
find
archery is a hard sport, man.
owning the targets is an advantage, you know.
I bet.
I can look at a target. I know where, like the hyena is a very damning target because the 10 ring is really low in the 8. So I always aim, like, good course management would state, you know, I always aim at the upper because there's more room for error in the 8 because you got quite a bit of a margin there. And I try to manage, so I've learned to kind of manage. But now I've been, like, because I'm going into known distance, I've been pushing myself to, like, forcing myself, because I was used to be 80% uppers. So I forced myself to shoot lowers, you know, just because sometimes, like, the upper might be crowded, you know.
Could be,
yeah. So these glance outs can cost you a 5, like on a turkey or a wolverine, or even a miss. You know? So
there's
so you got
such a strategy to AS. There's such a strategy to ASA as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I remember when we were at Porcupine Hollow, I was going to call the upper on one of the targets. I think it was actually a hyena, or it might have been a wolf. And everybody before me had shot the upper, and they had gotten in there, and there was just no room anymore. So like, I had to shoot the lower. That was it. There was no way I was getting in that upper, which is, you know, that's a strategy in itself.
Sometimes if the conditions permit, move over a little bit in the stake, depending on how far that target is. Move over a little bit and try to work in, like, come into that 12 on an angle. If it's a bit crowded, sometimes you can finagle in, like, and then you have less chance of a glance out and more chance of a glance in.
Yeah, squeeze your way in there a little bit.
Yeah. So, like, get away from the stake a little bit and then try to come in on an angle. You know, that's helpful sometimes, but most of the time you have to, and then sometimes some targets have zero reference for the lower, you know, and you got to stick with it. And then that's when you have to decide, that's, you know, proper course management, and, you know, aim for the IBO and cut a yard, you know, cut a yard or something. Like, just have a general idea. Don't get too aggressive, kill me. You know.
Yeah.
My wife always says to me before I go in, "Don't be a hero. Don't be a hero." Like, she'll tell me. She knows me. She gets into my head, right? I get into my own head. But, you know, she says, "Don't be a hero. Just go for the 10." So you have to have a plan.
You do, and I think that's one thing that I struggle with is like my course management. I really think I just get in there and I get lost in the weeds of it, and all my focus is just make good shots, and I don't really have a strategy on what I'm doing. I'm literally just trying to shoot good, and that's it. So I'm going to try and work on that this year a little bit, I think.
So if you keep telling yourself, just try and focus and make a good shot, you're basically you need to tell yourself, "Oh, I'm going to make good shots." You know, I'm going to make good shots. Don't even worry about the shot aspect of it. You know, if you tell yourself, "Okay, here's my game plan. I'm going to aim for IBOs. I'm going to shoot at IBOs and manage this course, and then only get aggressive on targets that are under 35 yards or under 40 yards." You set your number, and that number might change based on your hold that day, or how comfortable you are. You know, how comfortable you're feeling on behind the bow. You know, how confident you are. Sometimes I feel, like, me personally, like, I feel some of these tournaments that I come in and I have a substantial lead. I've gotten angry at the targets. Like, I got angry. Like, my aim, and I feel as though, like, I'm going to flip and smoke this, you know, like, I tell myself that, you know, I'm going to smoke this target, and I almost get mad at it, you know, and I can aim and I can visualize it going in, you know, and it does, you know. So it takes work at it, you know, it takes time. So you guys are, hey, you beat my ass at that bow hunter event there last summer. I think that was a bit of luck,
old buddy. I think there's a lot of luck involved in that, buddy.
Of course, the Newfoundlander killed the moose, and the guy from New Brunswick didn't.
No, exactly. Gary won that the year before me.
No,
the
that was my
distance shoot.
first time. Who won it?
Gary
Me?
did. Gary, he won
Oh
that
yeah.
the year before.
I
Oh
won it
shit.
the first
Okay.
year, and CJ won it last year, and
Yeah,
we're gonna see
Wow.
what's gonna happen this year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because he didn't go this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary
That was my
stayed.
first year
It was like,
attending that, and I was there with Vortex and
Hmm.
showing our wares and stuff, and
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. And I plan on going back next year.
yeah. That's a good
Oh,
time,
it's a
right?
good time. Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Like the travel schedule is pretty busy this year. So with all the
Hmm.
ASAs and everything, I plan
Yeah.
on going to at least 5 of them. So
Oh,
we'll
no
see.
kidding, eh?
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna make a run at
Sure.
it. I
Yeah,
figure
good man. That's
if
awesome.
there ever was a chance for me to do it, now
It's now.
I feel really good. And
Yep.
hey, it takes 2 good days. I
That's
look at
it.
competing against some stout shooters, Tim Gillingham and Rio Wild and Randy Morocco and these guys. Like, there's some talent there, but
Oh,
2 good days, and I could do that. I feel good. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, man. You're a good archer, man.
Oh
I
yeah.
think you'll do good down there.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, thank you. I
It's going to
appreciate
be
it.
tough for sure because there's going to be
Oh
some
yeah,
real good
yeah,
shooters, but
yeah.
you can do it, man.
Everybody needs a good test of metal every now and then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Find out
Yeah.
where do I really stand? Where am I? How
Have you
good am I?
Exactly.
have you ever been to a total archery challenge or have you thought about
No, I
going to one?
haven't. I haven't done any of those or like an R100 or anything like that.
Mm, they're a
Um,
ton of fun.
yeah, I just, yeah. If it was like a tournament,
You'd
you know,
probably go.
you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah, it's
You
more of
can
a
keep
fun.
score.
It's more of a
They do
fun
give you a
thing.
scorecard
yeah,
though.
it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Like, it is a challenge, and it's a good time, and like, there's a lot of companies that I shoot for that go to these events too, and
Yep.
they're like, hey, and it counts as part of your, your pro deal if you show up at some of these places.
Right. Right.
But yeah,
Who
it's
who are you shooting for this year?
I'm
Like
sorry.
what companies are you shooting for this year? Like
Um,
what do you have?
I'm a pro for Bowtech.
That's
As
awesome.
of last year, 2024 was my
Congratulations.
first year as a pro for Bowtech.
Very nice.
Shrewd. Um, I'm on staff for Vortex USA.
Mm-hmm.
Gas bowstrings. Who else? Sorry, putting me on the spot.
That's okay, man.
Yeah,
That's huge, man.
First light. Yeah, first
Oh,
light.
really? Oh, that's cool.
Big
Yeah,
dog.
yeah, that's cool.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, first light's a tough one to crack.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's good, and all my my hunting gear too is all first light, and
Yeah.
that stuff's a game changer. When they
Oh.
say go farther, stay longer, they
Mm.
mean it, man.
Yeah.
You can stay you can stay out a lot longer and
Forever.
stay dry. And well, you guys don't you guys use something
New-
similar to that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Numa
Numa.
Outdoors we're with.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good, man. With super comfortable gear, real warm. All their late season gear is awesome too.
Yeah.
It's like Sitka, First Light, Numa. They're all kind of
Yeah.
in that realm of high quality gear, and
Yeah.
it's fantastic stuff. Yeah.
We
Did you get out? Did you get much hunting in this year?
Oh, yeah, I probably got, well, you're not going to like me very much, but I got at least 60 sits this year. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I told you my job affords me the time to do this. Like, if I want to go sit in the morning, like, I'll go
Yeah.
sit in the morning, and all my hunting spots are within a 10-minute bike ride of my house. I say bike, I have 2 Baku bikes.
Yeah.
Electric bikes. I leave my barn and I cut through the field. Like, one of my properties is where the SCC is.
Yeah.
Is held. That's one of my properties, and that is 7 minutes on my bike through the field. And,
Dude.
I got trailers for the bikes, and yeah, it was a good season. So I don't have
We
to
need to talk
get
about those
to go hunt.
bikes.
You really do have like the perfect gig.
Yeah.
It's true, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
The season was good. It was productive. I was after one buck in particular, and my heart got broken. The
Oh,
last week of December, I saw him 4 times while hunting. The closest I had him was 102 yards. So that's a no-go.
Yeah.
yeah.
I got his sheds from last year, actually, right here.
Oh,
His set.
oh my
Hello.
God.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like, look at that.
Hello.
That is
He's,
a big whitetail.
Scored his, the neighbor in the neighboring property, like a conservation area that goes up for lottery, like this small piece goes up for lottery every year. One of those guys shot him the last week of December. And I got a text from one of my buddies. He's like, hey, check out this buck that got shot in your neck of the woods. I'm like, oh my God. And I showed trail cam photos of that buck that morning going through my, like, just before day, like an hour before daylight, going through my spot, headed in that direction.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Did you want to just throw your phone? Like,
well, I'm optimistic because, like, I got trail cam photos. Like, there's 4 or 5 bucks in the same picture, including him. So I'm very optimistic for next year. Also, we did, get some management deer out of there, which was good. But there was 2 other bucks I would have been happy to take. I think they would have went over 150.
Yep.
2 others, but this guy would have been, I scored him we had him scored at 148 and 5/8. Just his sheds with no inside spread. Yeah, I think he would have been, 165 to 170, I think.
That's a big whitetail.
Just a gorgeous, gorgeous deer.
Yeah.
Good grief, man.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. But
That's
I did hunt a lot.
Yeah, you got 60 days though. 60 sits in that's a solid effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
And like, I'd say that's a conservative number. Just ask my wife.
You got a good wife. She lets you hunt that much. You got a good one there, buddy.
Yeah, I do. I've got a great wife. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you strictly bow hunt, or do you do any rifle hunting at all? Or
I do. A couple years ago, I drew my first tag for a shotgun hunt. We have a 1-week shotgun hunt here. First week in November.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, I took my very first deer with a gun. Very first deer with a shotgun.
Yep.
And all the rest, like I've got quite a few deer with a bow, over in the last, we haven't bought meat. We haven't bought beef in 15 years. So
nice.
Venison is our that's our bread and butter.
Boy, you're a man after our own heart. I guarantee you. I would eat wild game if I had the option. That's all I'd eat.
Yeah. Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
We got a moose last year in Northern Ontario. My brother shot it with a bow.
Yep.
We got a bow hunt.
Oh wow.
This year we didn't go. But the deer hunting too, and it's all local here, and we got great turkey hunting here. We catch lots of fish. Walleye fishing is amazing in Lake Erie.
Yeah. You're just a straight outdoorsman, eh?
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I could literally live off the land here.
Well, sounds like you almost do for the most part.
We buy chicken. I'm waiting for wild boar to come in, come down to our area.
Well, they keep saying that I've seen a few things now where they're saying they've seen a few of them coming across.
Yeah.
Oh, they're starting to encroach, are they? Like up this way?
Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I think so. They're a pretty resilient bunch of animals.
You're not stopping them.
Yeah.
No.
Back to tuning. My bow hunting bow is completely like I tune 2 different ways. Like I start at 90 degrees with my bow hunting bow. Make sure the timing's bang on and make sure that the broadheads are good. And like I said, the deadlock from Bowtech is a godsend. For tuning broadheads. Like you set that thing in the middle, and there's nothing you can't do with that. There's nothing you can't do with that bow.
It's beautiful.
couple of years, I've gotten so comfortable tuning these Bowtechs, man. It's like, give me 8 shots.
Mm.
Give me eight shots. I'll have you broadhead tuned. Like,
It takes no time at all. Peyton, when he got his reckoning, he called me. He goes, "Hey man, do you want to give me a hand paper tuning?" I was like, "Yeah, come up to the range, man. Let's go. We'll do it."
Yeah.
I think we were like 3 arrows in, and he was done. We were like, he was like, "Man, that's so easy." I'm like, "Yeah, that Bowtech, that deadlock system, makes life so easy when you don't have to go back to a press."
Yeah.
But it's just, it's such a game changer, man. It's unreal. I love it.
Adjust timing right on the range. Adjust the timing, and like, it's definitely a game changer. I'm looking forward to it. I've been hunting with a Carbon 1X.
Okay.
This season, I think I'm gonna get one of those Virtues. They look really good.
I was gonna ask you about
that's what Virtues got coming.
Yeah, and my eyes are starting to, like, I had the Landslide Carbon Pro this year, and I made the mistake of ordering 10,000 pins, and so at first I kept a shrewd scope on it, which was really, really nice. I had a 15 thou blue fiber on it, but I had to run a light, so I just decided to go back to the 2-pin Ranger Ranger scope on it, and it was good. It was like really, really well built sight. But this year, I think I'm just gonna go to like a 5-pin, 19 thou pins, and just keep it simple. Like, just
I'm going back to 19s.
A lightweight 5-pin sight. I don't need it. Like, once the pins are set, man, like, just leave them. I don't need micro adjust and fancy bells and whistles, everything. I'm just keeping it bread and butter. My eyes are starting to go, I can't read that sight tape anymore. I'm like truly senior class. I pull my glasses off. They're like all these flipping pictures of me I've seen at tournaments and stuff. I got these glasses on my head, and I'm like, oh, God,
I'm going back to a 19 thou pin.
Yeah,
it's the 10 thou. It just, I lose it too much, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't give me enough, and the UltraView, the scope I shoot on my hunting bow, it just doesn't collect any light, man.
Right.
If you don't turn that light on it, you can forget it. You're not seeing a pin no matter what you do. It's wild. So I'm just gonna go back.
Those black gold sights, the black gold sights seem to have the market cornered on collecting light. I swear, man, those things are so bright. The sun, like, you could have moonlight and your pins are lit. You know, like, boom, it's like, whoa.
I hear the dialed archery ones are quite good too.
Yeah, they're a bit
like
heavier.
brightness.
They're heavier, but they're good. They're built like a tank. Those sights. Yeah.
I shoot a Spot Hog right now. It's basically
I was gonna say I got a
boat
Spot
anchor.
Hog triple stack, so I know all about a heavy sight.
It couples as a boat anchor, right? When you're fishing, you just throw it over the board, and it's all good. You're not moving. Yeah. But I'm definitely changing up hunting sights this year, for
Me
sure.
too.
But I shoot one of the on my target bow, the Landslide Excel Ranger.
Yeah,
like that. But I messed up, and I like you, I got the 10 thou pin when I should have went up a size just to make life easier.
The nice thing about if you swap out to like a shrewd scope on that sight, that particular sight, if you were to you can get a 10 thou pin, on a shrewd scope on an Optum. You could change the fibers out pretty easy.
Okay.
But you can mushroom that fiber. So if you're having a hard time seeing it, like, mushroom the fiber a little bit, like, just get it close to a lighter, like, boop, like, just get it close. It goes, whoop, it mushrooms. It mushrooms to like a 15 or even a 19.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then the other thing too, at the end where you screw your light into the Optum, the fiber ends there, and a lot of people don't do anything with that fiber. They just like stop it there, and then they screw their light. But if you mushroom that end, it acts as a huge collector of light, like, and it really brightens your pin up, like, super, super.
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll try something like that then. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, because if you make the end of that fiber bigger, it should grab more light, and then it'll bring it to the post better. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Like I use Elvish tack lights, and the Elvish tack light, like you thread it in, and that fiber goes into this little brass thing where it's directly exposed to the light, you
Yeah.
know. And whereas before I didn't do that, like, and the pin was still bright and I could still see it, no problem. But I've heard people complaining about not being able to see their pins or whatever. But ever
Right.
since I started doing that, like just mushrooming the end, man, it
Yeah.
collects like 3 times more light. It's like,
Okay.
oh yeah,
Okay.
significant change.
Those Elvish lights are nice too because
Oh yeah,
they turn off when you put them down. When you pick them
yeah,
back up, they
automatically.
come
Yeah,
back
Yeah.
right on.
you could set that timer. You set that timer too to 30 seconds or a minute to
Yeah.
shut off. You know,
Yeah.
and then the minute you pick them up, and they're great for hunting too. You just got to shut the backlight off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
you're in a ground blind and you're not collecting any light, sometimes you'll look through. You'll look through. You're not going to see your pins, but you know, with an
Yeah.
Elvish tack light, you know, just shut your background light off. You can
Oh,
you can get into the functions and then shut the backlight off. So because it
yeah.
flashes and it's fairly bright
That's a good idea.
when it
Yeah,
turns on.
I'm gonna pick one of those up this year for 3D
Yeah.
just because I need it. I like the idea of just being able to pick it up. It comes back on. You
Yeah.
go ahead, do your thing. It's one less thing you have to kind of think about, right?
And literally the battery lasts, like, I charged mine twice
Yeah.
in one season. That's it.
That's it.
Like all year. The battery keeps like forever. And there's as soon as you turn it on, it'll show battery 92%, battery
Jesus.
87%. And it's like, I charged this like 2 months ago. Like, it's
Huh.
crazy. And like, I try and shoot every day. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that light is on like
Yeah.
all the time, you know?
Wow, that's
So,
amazing that it lasts that long.
I'm sorry?
I said that's amazing that it lasts that long. That's
Yeah. Oh,
wow.
it's crazy. Everybody that owns one of those, you'll see when
Yeah.
you pick one up. That head, like, I swear, it's like a giant. The whole head is a battery. I think, you know.
Oh yeah, the whole
Yeah,
mount
the
on the
whole
side's
thing, yeah.
probably battery. Yeah.
And now they got a new mount for that. I saw their advertising where somebody's 3D printing a new mount that has like it's dovetail adaptive, which is cool. But
Okay.
I have mine. I mount mine on my riser.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
mine's mounted on the riser, and it's out of the way. Like, I don't see it. It's not in my sight picture or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, my other bow, it's mounted on my, the grub screw of your rest.
Yep.
The grub screws that I never use those. I don't like scratching my riser or anything like that.
Yeah, I know.
So I thread in the head right into that grub screw, and
Oh,
they
okay.
supply you a bunch of different screws that you can use with that thing.
Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna pick one up. That's a must have, I think, for this season for sure. 100%. So when is do you know when the Southern Classic's going to be this year? It's obviously around the same time as last year, right?
Yeah, it's typically the third week of August.
Okay.
And that's 2 weeks before Labor Day. We want to give people a time. You're putting me on the spot. I should have these dates in front of me, shouldn't I?
No, it's okay. You just let us
Yeah.
know and we'll get it out there on the podcast
Oh, yeah,
whenever
we'll
you
tell
know for sure.
everybody.
Yeah.
No worries at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I got a phone call coming. See, that's me. I'm the guy. The two hosts of the podcast. We're the only ones to ever get phone calls while we're on doing a show. All the guests are always so good
people
about it.
calls me is you or the wife. So
Yeah, that's a good point. So I was trying to get away with it, but it's really just me.
Yeah. I shut my phone off. I was just so excited to hang out with you guys.
Oh, we were excited to hang out with you too, man. I know this has been so long coming, and we were super pumped that we could get it to work out, man. Because talking to you, you've got so much knowledge, and you've been involved in the archery community in Ontario for so long. It's super cool, and we really we started the podcast just because we love archery so much, and we just when we started shooting tournaments, we found them very difficult to find.
Yes.
So we were like, if we have a podcast and we're talking about hunting, we're talking about 3D, we can let people know, man. And that, if anything, it's just going to help grow the sport, and that's awesome. And that's our whole plan. It's the same thing when it comes to when we're doing the full draw shoots this year, like we did one last year. We're going to try to do 3 this year. We just want to help raise money for all the local clubs to assist them to get more targets, better inserts, whatever they want to do. And that's the whole goal. Just grow the sport, help local clubs, and let's keep going. That's
great.
That's the goal, man.
And
See,
you know
this
what?
year we want local clubs to kind of like team up,
Yeah.
put together a little team and come to all 3 events.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, and that's great. Instead of like your normal pecker contest, let's just work together because, and that's how you get things done. And that being said, like whatever I can do to help you guys out, I'm happy to do it.
Oh, we appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. And we need more people because, and as a whole, and I've been seeing it a lot more in the last couple of years, especially, the archery community, like talk about a bunch of helpful people too.
Oh,
You can
amazing.
go up to anybody, like everybody, and that's how it should be. Everybody should be approachable. Like I've been lucky enough, fortunate enough to help quite a few shooters, in the learning process, and get into target archery and stuff and 3D. And I had one guy, who I always shoot with, my buddy Dean, and he's like, why are you showing me this stuff, man? He's like, I'm gonna end up beating your ass, And I'm like, I want you to beat me, and I want you to beat me. I want you to drive.
I want you to get better.
I'm like, bring it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what it's all about. Everybody's helping each other, and I think that's so important.
Yep. Because the better everybody else gets, the better you're going to get, and it grows from there. A rising tide lifts all boats, right? Is what it comes down to.
Getting philosophical.
Oh,
We're getting philosophical, I love it. But,
and I'm seeing it too at local tournaments, like especially in the usually K50. Typically K50 historically has grown to be the largest class, but now this hunter money, like
way more
wild now, Bruno.
I'm thinking about cutting my stabilizers down, boy.
No doubt. Well, we're behind the ball because I hear down in the States they let you go past 12 inches for hunter.
Well, it's just 12-inch. Like the stabilizer itself has to be 12 inches. So you can add weight. You add your weight, like your weight.
See, now we've heard the opposite of that.
Yeah.
It was the whole stabilization system had to be no more than 12 inches from where it mounts to the bow.
The point of contact, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you draw a radius from the point of contact, a 12-inch radius all the way around, you can shoot a back bar.
Yeah.
It has to be within that radius.
Right.
Like in the States, I've seen these guys in the hunter class, like hunter pins with, you have a 12-inch shrewd bar, and you can have a stack of weights, another 2-3 inches long, and then a dampener in the front.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean? So you're rocking 14, 15 inches front and back.
That's usually what I would run would be a 15 up front,
right?
Yeah.
So
it gets wild, when they start stacking all those weights on it. No. Yeah. But you're right. Hunter money has become like a really, really, really competitive class. Yeah. Like you got some real good shooters in there, man.
Yeah. Shooting some serious numbers.
Yeah.
And first place was $490 this year.
Yeah.
First place plus $150 US in shrewd money.
I know I still haven't spent that, but I figured it. I figured out what I'm going to spend it on. So
an Optum scope. Yeah. Yeah.
No, and Shrewd makes some real good stuff too. I love their stuff.
They do.
Yeah.
I've been
but they've been in the game a long time.
Been with them since 2014, summer of 2014. I got with them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they've been awesome. It's a family-run business. These people are so nice. Okay. You go to the Shrewd trailer and talk to Sam. Like at any of these ASAs, Sam is the dad. He's on the road. Like him and his wife will go on the road. They got this big motor home and they pull the Shrewd trailer and they go to all these events around the States. They go to California, go to the Western Trail Shoot. And
that's so cool, man.
All these, it's so cool, and they're such nice people. You want to see nice people, these ASAs down south, man.
Yeah.
Friendliest bunch of people you ever met.
Oh, I bet.
Right up to Levi Morgan and shake his hand. He's so friendly. Like such a
That's
nice
amazing.
Dude,
Yeah. That's what I love to hear too. Like when you get guys like that and they're friendly and approachable and like that's
just normal.
Yeah.
Just normal.
Yeah. No egos, none of that stuff.
These are just guys that are really good at shooting their bow. Like they're
yeah, that's it.
and they're you know, they hunt, they fish, they do the same things that we do, and
Yeah.
you know, and they're just like you know,
They're just regular people.
very much like-minded people, you
Mhm.
know. So
Yeah.
that's all. They're just really good at what they do.
It's just better than us.
They're just really, really good at shooting a bow, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, we're an hour deep, Bruno. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much, man. It was
Yes, good
awesome
chat.
talking to you. You got an open invitation anytime you want to come on. You're more than
Thank you.
welcome. We'll have you
Thank you
back
for
anytime, brother.
Thank you for having me on, and
Absolutely.
thank you for your support too. I've been listening to your podcast and stuff,
Mhm.
and the support and the love you guys give the Southern Canadian Classic. We really, really appreciate that.
Dude,
And like I
we
said,
love it.
anything you guys need from me, I'm happy to help.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very much. And we'll definitely have you back. And we're definitely going to do, we're going to shoot some arrows together
Awesome.
coming up this year. So
Looking forward to it.
sounds good, brother. Okay, folks, thank you very much for listening, and good night.
Love shot.
Cheers, guys.